Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're making hand unit from sister location. So now let's start with phase 1, hand unit. I'm going to start by outlining the base for the front and back of hand unit. Now that I'm done outlining, it's time to cut it out. Now that I finished cutting it out, I'm going to touch up the rough parts. And now I'm going to do the same thing again for the other side of hand unit. Now that that's done, I'm going to start cutting out the walls for hand unit. I'm just going to trim down the cardboard to the right size for the sides. Now that that's done, we can finally start planning how we're going to glue the cardboard. And for projects like these, you're going to need a lot of hot glue. If you're impatient like me, you're going to try to do anything to get the hot glue out to finish the project, instead of just waiting for the gun to heat up. Anyways, now that it's finally ready, we can start hot gluing this together. Now it's just a matter of putting the sides on. And while I'm doing this, you should go check out my other videos, because I do some pretty cool things. Finally, now that the sides are on, we're just gonna trim it down so that it's not as thick. And now that it's trimmed, we can add on the back. And if you do this, you're going to want to make sure that you really push down the cardboard so that it doesn't stick up. Now that I'm done with the base of hand unit, I'm going to start detailing. First with the eyes. For this, you just want to grab something circular and outline that, and then cut it in half. After that step is done, I'm going to cut out some more cardboard so that we can fully finish hand unit's eyes. And to bend the cardboard in the smoothest way possible, I'm going to get this lightsaber and just push the cardboard onto it to get a nice curve. Now that we're done with that, we're just going to hot glue the eyes to the pieces we just cut out. Here I realized I messed up because I made hand unit's eyes long enough for the width of him and not the length. Now that I realized that mistake, I'm just going to cut it down to the proper size. And now I'm just going to do that a second time for the other eye. Now that the eyes are done, we can actually start adding detail to hand unit, starting with the screen. Here I'm just getting a thin piece of cardboard, and I'm just cutting it out to the size of hand unit, and then I'm going to cut out another piece for the screen. Now that we've added depth, It looks much more realistic. Anyways, now we're gonna hot glue that on. Now that we're done with the front, we're going to be adding some bumps to the side of him that are apparently there. So now that we have the sides done, we can finally start working on the handle of hand unit. Now that the handle is done, I'm going to work out the position of it on hand unit and see if it needs to be trimmed. Now that I trimmed it to the correct length, we're going to be hot gluing the handle to hand unit. Now it's just time to add the bottom of the handle on. Then we're on to phase 2, paint. Now, to make this slightly more difficult on me, I chose to use just the color of him instead of adding a base coat. So we're adding multiple layers of yellow. Now that the first layer is done, it's time to add the second layer before letting it dry to paint the other side. Now that the paint is dry, we can flip it to the other side and start painting. Now that both sides have dried, it's time to make sure that there's an even coat on every area. Now getting close to the end of this project, since the yellow of hand unit has finally dried, it's time to add the last few touches. Now it's time to paint the screen, and leave ideas in the comments on what I should write. As a subtle but key touch, I'm going to be adding the owner's name to hand unit. And finally, it's time for the last part of hand unit, the eyes. After I was done with the eyes, I realized that there was a forgotten detail, so now we're on to phase 3. Now, I have zero idea what this part is. I'm guessing it could be a speaker, but I don't know. Now that I've added all these parts, I'm just gonna paint them black. Now that our trusty man hand unit is done, it's on to the glamour shots. If you enjoyed this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to support me so I can make more videos like this.